Welcome, internet audience.
Woo!
Hey, you got to give yourself some props sometimes, right? All right, so I'm gonna try my best to get to this next hour and not fall asleep on you. As you can see, my eyes are kind of
They're starting to give up.
well, it's been a weird long week. Whereas I don't know what's worse, the physical draining of your job or the mental draining of your job.
Why
So
not live? Why not both?
yeah, I had a little bit of that this week, so that's probably why I'm so messed up. Yeah, but it's how it is. At least it's not hot. It's
True.
like, yeah, I I can't deal with the hot too much. But all right. So our topics of today are apparently Lionsgate is going to train AI to do storyboards and whatnot. So a bunch of artists are a little freaking out about that.
Wow.
And there's a guy who was working at Sweet Baby Inc. and he's having trouble finding a job with developers because of the taint from Sweet Baby Inc.
Even just the association, huh?
Well, yeah, it's not good. Even though they're one of many, they're the most out there about it, and it's weird how you got these companies who are trying to do both of these things. They're trying to appease these woke people and they're trying to appease their customer base now. Because at first they wasn't, because they were getting all that ESG money, and all that ESG money kind of went away. So now they're like, crap. So we either have to appeal to our customer base and have to deal with the wrath of these crazy people, which I don't really understand because it's not a lot of them, and they're just yelling and screaming on TikTok and Twitter and all that stuff.
Sounds like it's a lose-lose.
No, you can just tell them to piss off because that's basically what Saber Interactive did. The guys for Black Myth Wukong did. So there's a couple of companies just like whatever, yell and scream if you want to. And the Rings of Power showrunners don't like the old fans. So they're doing the if you don't like it, don't watch it thing, which is kind of dumb considering how people aren't really watching it.
Yeah.
And I will give you a brief synopsis of, as I told you before, of the Rings of Power. Subtlety is not the writer's strong suit, and this is it's basically Ahsoka.
Oh, good.
Well, is and it just all right. So it is Ahsoka, whereas you are writing stuff that deals with military things, and the writers who are writing it have no idea how military works.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's why you have a bunch of elves in the previous episode running on foot instead of horseback, when every other elf who either left the place where the high king is, and from the other spot they went on horses. Even the two people who are currently running from one spot to the next. So they was like, screw it. We got here on horseback, but we're gonna do it on foot now.
They're doing it on hard mode.
Pretty much. No, it is a case of you got a bunch of people who are writing because just like the thing with Thrawn in Ahsoka, like this dude is supposed to be a genius, tactical genius, and you should probably have someone consulting you who understands what that actually means. And if you don't, then you get what you got with Ahsoka, where your villain is basically an idiot who's somehow supposed to be threatening.
No. Yeah, that's pretty much that's a very good one sentence summary of Thrawn.
Yeah. So
yeah.
that is basically what I'm getting out of the Rings of Power. And the next time I see Ricky, I'm gonna give him even more stink eye for having me watch this thing.
Well, I'm ready to be dumbfounded and flabbergasted.
All right, so look, that's the I told you a little bit about it, and what I told you before is just basically it in a nutshell. It's a random series of events that the people who are falling for this have to be the dumbest people on the world and very unobservant. From your kings and leaders completely having a 180-degree personality
Yeah.
change, and no, you got a handful of people here and there are objecting. The Numenorians seem to pick their leaders by what mythical creature shows up at whatever time. So the new king of the Numenorians, who was crowned king, because a giant eagle showed up at the coronation and he happened to be standing next to him. So he got to be king. And his
Wow.
yeah, oh yeah,
Talk
that's
about
basically what
lucky.
oh yeah, that's basically what happened. And his idiot son decided to defile a shrine. And so when the people push back on it, have the nerve to cop an attitude about it, and they're gonna basically murder the leader of the military leader, right? That he's a captain, and it's like they're just basically trying to make martyrs, which is the weirdest choice. I don't get your choice. It's like you want conflict for some reason, and the route that you're taking is that. And though I will give it to him, the king did pull his son to the side and call him an idiot for getting them in this position in the first place. So they're gonna like Isildur's dad. They're gonna have him fight, or it's like a weird battle with some sea creature or whatever, right? So as he's about
Mhm.
to do that, all he got, but if he denounces whatever he his, because they haven't even established what the issue is, other than him actually liking the queen. So yeah, it's really weird, dude. And so she decides that she is gonna take his place because he shouldn't die for her behavior. So she climbs into this pool that has a hole in it somehow. The creature grabs her, sucks her down in the pool. She goes into the Christ position for a second. The creature yells at her, and then so everybody above thinks she's dead. And then she pops up in the water, and then now everyone is yelling "Queen, Queen!" So she's the queen now, or I don't know what's going on. And I'm
Wow.
like,
That's a
what?
lot to take in.
Well, I'm like, what the hell, dude? It's like this is how you guys choose anything. So it's like some random creature decides the fate of your kingdom. So yeah, it is very poorly written.
Oh gosh.
So all
Yeah.
right. So since we're talking about that, we will get into the showrunners. We'll talk about the Lionsgate thing last. So we're just talk about the all right, here we go. Lord of the Rings. Here we go. Share the screen. Rings of Power. All right. Okay, can you see it? Because okay.
Yes, that could.
All right. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power showrunner attacks token fans as viewers abandon show in mass. Uh, Showrunner
Wow,
JD
this
Payne. Yeah.
reminds me of a certain multi-billion-dollar company.
Dude, it's actually pretty amazing. The bubble that these people live in. No, it is really amazing. So they tell themselves that one, because everyone around them is the norm, or think like they do. So they assume that that's what the norm is. Regardless of whether or not people are supporting your product, none of that matters. Is we just tell each other that we're the norm. So how you like these two very masculine looking men?
Oh, they're fantastic. I could see their beards.
Oh yeah, they look so manly. All right. Speaking with the Hollywood Reporter, Payne said the fellowship had to look to each other and those who support it and remember that what it's fighting for. When we see millions of people are watching this and responding so positively to it, that's who we're fighting for. He then added, and those who watch every episode and negatively write about it on social media and make YouTube videos, we're happy to have you guys too. And it wouldn't be a journey through Middle Earth without some trolls along the way.
Hey, that's you.
Oh yeah. So I'm a troll, I guess. And it's like you're losing. It is amazing how you can completely ignore reality. You have half the viewership that you got in the first season. And you can see the numbers. So they're probably telling you what the numbers are. So your numbers are going down from, so you got half of what happened last year, last season. You, and of that, 67% of the people didn't even finish the damn shit. So it's like you just this is major cope. This is actually pretty amazing cope. It's like we're fighting for this little tiny thing, but that's not how you want this to work. You want something to be very appealing, especially given the fact that it's based on a IP that the only thing that is more popular than it is the Bible.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah. It is really a big, IP, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess when I really think about it.
It is good versus evil. People like
Yeah.
uh your you have it is the quintessential hero's journey, and you have many characters going on the hero's journey.
Right.
So it can speak to different people in different languages throughout the world because it's a very simple story.
And it's like what, 80 some years old, right?
That I'm not
70.
exactly. It's been around for a minute.
It's been around for a while. Yeah.
Well, his son died of old age, so it's been around
There
for a
you go.
while,
Yeah.
and he fought in World War II. So yeah,
There you go.
yeah, it's been all right. So this article is on that Park Place. All right, this is not out of character for Payne. Back in October 2022, following the conclusion of the show's first season, Payne described critics as the show is evil. He told the Hollywood Reporter, "The spirit of Tolkien is about desperate people who don't trust one another and look different from one another, finding common ground in friendship and accomplishing big things. That is the spirit we've tried to wait, inoculate. Okay,
Inculcate.
in what the all right into
That's
every
I think inoculate.
yeah okay or I don't know what word that is. In every single comment period of the show, then addresses the critics. This is aspiration that should be offensive to people and enrage them. It's very hard for us to understand. What are they protecting? I don't see people who are saying these things think that they're fighting for good. No. What they're upset about is you basically bending over and having your way with their favorite story and reinterpreting it into your own fashion, because you're a narcissist who somehow thinks that you can write something better than what has already been written.
Yeah. Very nice summary, Shalvan.
Yeah, and dude, it is again. I'm from this to this, the acolyte to all of this stuff, and you just sit back and you look at these people like, why do you think this? Why do you why do you think this way? It's very weird.
Because there's a way, and we could think of a couple of examples where they take a really popular IP,
Hmm.
right? And then they respect the source material, and they're able to, construct a story of their own
Hmm.
in the likeness of that IP, right? These ones, they really take the IP and then they turn it over its head and and then beheaded and all these other things.
Yeah, it's like you're serving me crap, and then you're getting mad at me because I don't want the crap.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's
and blaming the fans too. Oh gosh.
yeah. Well, at least look, at least they didn't make a diss track. Um, so at least they didn't do that. And as I was looking for stuff to look at to talk about, dude, it's like so much. Because I was looking at Variety and Headline and all those places, right? It's just crap after this. It was the Emmys and all this patting themselves on the back stuff, and it's Kamala was trending, and it's like, bro, you guys don't understand how everything is kind of going for most people right now, and it's just how the websites are. It is like that Park Place tends to lean more right, right,
That Park Place.
yeah,
Uh,
and But all the other ones, they're all like this left leaning thing where it's the same kind of people. Is you need to accept this crap that we're giving you, and if you don't accept it, then you're a isht or a phobe or whatever. It's like no, they got plenty examples of people will enjoy it if regardless of whether or not the politics of it is if it's an actual good story. You're not telling good stories, and that's what people their objections are. But you see thing. Go ahead.
I said, yeah, agree with you on that one. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's not about politics or politicking. It is
Yeah.
just writing a good story, which
Yeah.
seems to be very difficult these days.
Well, I mean, you can't tell your story in the sense of like you can't like all right like Ray. Remember I was telling you about Ray and all these other characters like Captain Marvel. They're already awesome. They just don't realize how awesome they are until the end of the movie, and then they realize how awesome they are, and they get even more awesome.
Hmm.
That is not a good story.
Yeah.
And it's so many. All right. So did you even look at the Willow show when it came out on Disney Plus?
Oh gosh. I watched an episode or two,
Mhm.
and I remember you told me it's based off old series, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't watch that, but I did watch the first two, and I found it a little boring,
All right.
or a
So
lot
it is.
boring.
All right. So
Yeah.
it is based off of George Lucas script. He wrote a movie. He
Oh,
wrote the movie, right?
okay.
And he actually wrote the conclusion to the story.
Oh,
See,
okay.
so it ends right, and the book that he wrote it with. He co-wrote it with. I can't remember what the guy's name is, but he's a very good science fiction, like fantasy writer. Right,
Mhm.
and the way the story goes is the little girl, Laura Dannon. She grows into her destiny. So, but it doesn't happen yet. It takes a while for it to happen. So she turns into a spoiled little brat who because she's the chosen one, she turns into a spoiled brat. Like people don't like can't really deal with her and all this other stuff. So you have some elements of that, I guess, in the show. And it's about her when everything finally happens, all the stuff that she's destined to take care of finally happens. The state that she's in is a spoiled brat. She's a chubby, spoiled kid. All right.
Mhm.
And she basically has to go from where she's at to eventually achieve what she's destined to achieve. So I'm not gonna like it's hard to find this book because this book came out like in the 90s, and I have a copy of it someplace. It's like packed up with my other books. But if you was to buy a copy of this book, I think it's hold on, see if I can. Yeah, I think the last time I saw it, it was like $200 or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah. Let's see. Amazon. Let's see what Amazon Prime. Willow. Uh, Willow book. All right. Wow, there's an actual Willow book called. It's about a cat.
Oh, that's not it.
No. All right. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I haven't thought about it in a minute. The name of this damn thing. Maybe if I put George Lucas Willow fantasy book. George Lucas. All right, so the prices went down. So now it's just 30. All right, let me
Mm,
share this.
okay.
And the last time I looked at yeah, it was high. I don't know why it was so high. So you can buy it like cheap now, but yeah, it was. So this is Chris Claremont. So he wrote a bunch of like X-Men comics and all that stuff, and George Lucas.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
Yeah, so it's called here we go, Shadow Moon, right? 13 years have passed since the epic battle of Knockmere freed the land from the tyrant's grasp, but in the time since, the countryside has been wrecked by war and chaos. According to a prophecy, there is but one hope to deliver deliverance. The princess Alora Dannon, raised friendless and alone, she has grown into a royal spoiled brat. The fate of the great realms rests in her hands, and she couldn't care less. It will take a stranger named Thorn Drumheller, as basically it's uh Warwick Dunn's character.
Mhm.
He's an actual wizard now to fight the opposing forces of unimaginable malevolence. But first, he must strike a devil's bargain, and resurrect a powerful warrior from her soulless sleep, bringing her into a world of blood and horror where shadows have declared war on the light. So it's three.
Dang.
It's 3 books. They're really good. If they would have made that story, yeah, it would actually did really really well.
Did you watch the movie?
Yeah, when it first came out.
Oh, was
So
the movie
yeah,
good?
no, yeah, it was a 90s action movie.
Oh.
So yeah, so Warwick Dunn, it had what's your boy name? He was in Tombstone. He played Doc Holliday, Val Kilmer. So Val Kilmer was in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it had like yeah, so it had fantasy elements and all, like, dude, it was actually it's pretty good. Like, if you should check it out. So that's why I bought the books, because I like the movie so much. All right.
Oh, okay.
And the books were good, and they should have done it. They should have just took again. Once again, Disney ignored George Lucas's ideas for how he wanted to finish his story.
Ugh.
Bro, it's action. You have a female protagonist. She grows. So there's an actual beginning, middle, and the end. There's fight. You got representation, like whatever, everything that you need is in all 3 of these books. And you would have had that's 3 seasons they could have did. But no, they wanted to make gay characters and make this character and make that character and whatever. And it's like, you created something that was so bad that Disney basically got rid of it because it was so bad. And they could have just did that. It's the same thing with Star Wars.
Yeah.
They have Eisner winning writers who wrote hundreds of books. Pick one. Pretend, like, change it enough where you can pretend that you wrote this shit, which they do with a lot of stuff. Because
What
hell, what?
was that Willow series on Disney Plus? Was it like a telling retelling of the books for the
No,
movie, or like a sequel,
nope.
or just
It was their version of the sequel to their story, their version
Oh,
of what happens next.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, just basically like so I forgot, I cannot remember his name, but Warwick. All right. So his character, he's not with his family. There's a reason for that. I forgot what it was. It's like, but I think they left, so he's basically on his own. Yeah, so he's a wizard. He's a powerful wizard now, and there's a lot of stuff you could have done. But
They just decided to
yeah, we're gonna do
ignore
our own.
everything that came before it.
Yep, we're gonna do our own thing. So yeah,
Look,
and
look what happened.
yeah, and it's like, bro, this from reading this article, they they don't learn their lesson, because everyone who is everyone who is who would actually tell a good story, they rushed them out of Hollywood. So if there's a line in episode 7 where Galadriel says that every war is fought without the win. Even if you're fighting for something you think is good, if you do something worse in that fight, then you become evil. I don't see how people who are saying these things think that they're fighting for good. It's patently evil. Again, it just completely, he is this person. The person that you are talking about is not the fans, bro. It is you. You're taking a IP that a British dude wrote for British people, and then you're sticking all of this crap into it that was not there in the first place. And then you have the audacity to be upset that they don't accept your changing of their thing.
Yeah.
There are there are plenty of stories by whatever particular racial group that you want to choose. Every last one has fables and stories that are passed down that you can tell, right? And you can go tell that will be full of representation. There are, if you want, you can tell Native American stories. They got like in each country in Africa, they got their own folk tales. You can go pick one, but you don't want
Nope.
to do that. Nope,
Yeah.
you don't want to do that because you are so. It's like you're virtue signaling so hard, you don't realize how freaking racist you are because you don't see any value in none of those stories. Like none, zero.
Ouch. Yeah. Touche. That's a good point.
Yeah, dude. But they don't see that. So they sit up there and you get this smug look on their face and they're like, how dare you not accept this stuff? Well, how dare you don't like, how dare you change a Danish folk tale about a mermaid and make her black when you can just tell a story from Africa about mermaids who will be African? Hell, even in the freaking like cartoon, they established that they have different kingdoms. So there was a kingdom that was off of Africa that had African people in it. You could have told that story. You could
We'll
have
just
created your
sweep that under the rug.
bro, and that's what they do. And so at this point, you just kind of look at them as like, I pity these people, dude, because like they speak in this high horse kind of talk. It's like, one, you're not. What are you accomplishing? You're not. You're not accomplishing anything. You're blowing up all these people who you put them in this thing, and you tell them that people don't like them because they're black. Like, no, nobody really cared the color of the for Obi-Wan. Nobody cared the color of the character. Nobody really cared. What they cared about was the fact that they're interjecting you in the middle of in a spot that you shouldn't have been in. So now you got a character running around who knows that Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia, or at least Luke Skywalker, maybe not Princess Leia, but Luke Skywalker is Darth Vader's kid. And for some reason didn't tell nobody.
Oops.
Right. And they just do this crap over and over and over again, man. So I don't know.
No, it is bothersome.
Well, it is
Well,
what it.
besides bothersome, but I think just the fact that they take the IP and then run away with it, call it their own,
Yeah,
and then get upset if people don't like it.
because they don't have any talent. So, and which is basically pretty obvious that they don't. The Remember I told you about the guy who did the character designs for Jasmine and I forgot the girl and the princess and the frog. So he did those character designs, but because he was a white guy, and modern Disney, he gets shuffled to the background.
Hmm. Poor guy.
Right. So even though he created two iconic characters, one of which you are using to push this ride that you can't get to work right. Like they changed what's it song of the South ride, Splash Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So the ride that they put in its place, they can't get it to work. Yeah, because you got rid of all the white dudes who knew how to do something. And then you didn't go look for other people who weren't white, who knew how to do stuff. Maybe because they didn't want to get with the agenda, whatever it was. So you hired a bunch of DEI people who can't, whatever,
No,
right?
didn't work. Whoops.
Right. And the thing about the Song of the South that just really ticks me up, like I told you what the Song of the South basically is, right?
Oh, yeah, some time ago.
Yeah, so to anybody who's listening, the Song of the South was a collection of folklore from the slaves. They had stories. So Brer Rabbit and all that stuff were all different stories that the slaves used to tell each other to entertain themselves and for their children and whatever. And this white dude, because it was all verbal, he didn't want it like he enjoyed the stories, so he didn't want them to go away. So he put them all in the book so that they will last longer because like written stuff lasts longer than verbal because people forget that kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
And so Walt Disney saw this, decided he wanted to make a movie about it, had to go through all kind of crap just to get this stuff like this movie actually put out. He got flack for doing it. He got flack after he did it, this whole thing. And then 30, 40, 50 years later, you get a bunch of people who don't know the history behind this thing, just go based off of well, it is a product of its time thing. So people talk a certain way, say certain stuff, and all this other stuff. And because we can't accept the past for what it is, we got to denigrate everything. So you get a bunch of liberal white women who push to not show it, not talk about it, not whatever. So you just basically, because you're ignorant and don't actually know the history of this thing, push this story out of the lexicon. And if you talk to like most black kids or whatever, they won't know anything about Brer Rabbit. They won't know anything about these tales. It's like if you go, it's like I used to get books and stuff about Native American folklore.
Hmm.
I don't hear anything about that. That's stuff that they can make movies about and different things. It's like if you are so interested in inclusion, then you can do that. You can go was it Henry? I forgot what his name is. See, I'm even forgetting stuff. No, John Henry. So, like that character Steel from DC, the guy who is like Superman's like one of his, I guess his little crew posse, I guess. He wears like an Iron Man kind of suit. His name is John Henry. Right.
Hmm.
He uses a hammer because of hammer John Henry was there's a story of they're gonna switch over to like to put the railroad stuff down. They're gonna use a machine. So he's like, no, you can't like you won't ever like the machine can do it quick better than the man. And he's like, the whole premise is no, the machine can do it faster than the man, but it can't do it better than a man. And so it became a competition between John Henry and this machine. So it was actually a pretty interesting story, and I'm not gonna tell it because I'm paraphrasing off of something that I heard a long time ago. But another folklore thing that you can make a short about,
Yeah, definitely.
but they
There's a
don't
lot
want.
of there are really like a lot of stories out there
Yeah,
that people just do, just don't look for, choose to ignore, and then they use something that is already there,
yeah,
and then turn it around upside down, do a 180 on it.
yeah,
Yeah,
because they only see they only see value in European stories. You know,
those are the same people looking for the DEI stuff.
yeah. So you keep talking about inclusion and it's like we need diversity, and I'm like, well, yeah, you can. There's a lot of ways that you can accomplish that. I don't need Falcon to be Captain America. Just tell me a really good Falcon story.
Exactly.
What you can do, what you could have done in the movie that's coming out. Anthony Mackie is a likable dude, and so you got all these people who didn't watch the damn television show because the television show sucked. Ugh, dude, it was so bad,
I didn't watch it.
bro. I remember telling talking to my mom about this, about how when he went into the bank and he couldn't get a bank loan because they're not gonna give a blank loan to a black man kind of thing. And it's like this this dude is one of six people who've saved the planet Earth on numerous occasions. He he would be Michael Jackson famous. It would be insane how famous he would be. Just like there is no bank on the planet Earth who would not lend him money so that he can say that he built whatever the hell he's trying to build, and they can put his picture on the wall saying Falcon from the Avengers gets his loans from here. So shut up. Then him and Bucky having an argument, and the cops asking Bucky's like, "Is this man bothering?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" It's like, bro, he's a fucking Avenger, dude. Like, oh, but again, this is all they see. So when they write this stuff, it's always, even no matter what he does, what I do, I'm still somehow a victim. I don't even know how that friggin' works. So, all right. All right, we're halfway through this, and let's get into the we got two more things. So let me block this. I try to sometimes it's hard to not be frustrated by stuff, you know?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, former Sweet Baby Inc. employee implies developers did not want to hire him after working for Kim Billar's company. All right. The former Sweet Baby Inc. employee, Kazuma Hishimoto, revealed the developer did not want to hire him because he worked for the game consultant company. Hashimoto was recently featured in an article written by Zachary Small of the New York Times, where he claimed that the Japanese people were not upset about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and claimed that much of the pushback against the game and one of his main characters, Yasuke, was being done by Westerners through translators. Like, no, there are plenty of Japanese people who are very upset about that. And there's like this channel that I recently discovered where they are talking about like the trailer. All right. They're talking about the trailer for this game. And so it's a Japanese, I know it's a Japanese woman. I'm not exactly sure if her husband is Japanese. It might be a white guy, it might be a Japanese guy. I'm not, but he's more Americanized. So he's American ish, and she's
Mhm.
Japanese. So she is talking about the history of different stuff, and she is just going in on this friggin' game. It's like every 30 seconds of the trailer, it's something horribly wrong. It is essentially, you take a Western company who make a Japanese game and do not seem to have consulted any Japanese people
People at all.
at all. So he's writing on a scroll, right? So he writes these big ass letters. And so she's like, why is he writing like that? Because you start from the bottom and you work your way up top, and it's like you using so much ink that if you fold this up, it would turn into one giant ink blot. So his dad, his armor's wrong.
Oh my god.
There's like they use a shrine that they're not allowed to use, but they use it anyway.
That reminds
Uh,
me of like this quote I read. It's like,
hmm.
be the American that the Japanese want you to be, or something like that. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like, oh, this must be what the Japanese culture is like.
Bro, it is like, all right. So the Ghost of Tsushima, they went into explicit detail for everything about that game. Everything was factually correct. The way that he fought, the way that he moved, the backgrounds, the poetry he did, the everything, everything, to the point where the Japanese people love this game. So if I'm Ubisoft and another Western company has done the thing that people have been asking for us to do for 20 years, the last thing I would do is put out some bullshit that we get in no input from anybody. So he's like he so this dude basically was not a samurai, but they're gonna make him a samurai because uh, it every last one of these people is remember I told you about the picture of Denara, my shit, all these damn D's. No, it's the Game of Thrones thing. Then Danny, and
Daenerys.
Daenerys, right?
Yeah.
So they all got the same fucking name, and now I'm getting confused. So there's a scene where when she rescues the slaves, and she walks into the thing, and then there's is a shot of her being completely surrounded by all these freed slaves who are reaching up because she saved them. That's how they
Mhm.
all seem to see themselves. So I can't do anything on my own. I need one of them to do stuff so that I can succeed in life. So therefore, you got to you could have told a story about this dude in the position that he was, right? Like there's a little bit of information, but you could have told that. But no, he has to be Uberman, running around beating the crap out of Japanese people in armor
Oh
that
my
he didn't. Yeah, so it's like, so he has his. I think I'm telling you what she said. He has a sword that traditionally would have gone to this guy's kid, not to him. But he's walking around with it. It's like, well, he wouldn't have this. And then they got his practice sword was not being used at that particular time period. It was like something else that was used instead. So it's just like thing after thing. It's like, wow, they didn't get anything right. They got trees that bloom in the summer and trees that bloom in the winter growing at the same time.
oh my gosh.
They put the rice paddies in the wrong spot.
Oh my god.
Dude, there's all right. So one thing is there's like a door that there's a staircase. The door should be where like the staircase is like right here. The door is over here. So it looks like there's a door hanging and there's like a dude standing on top of a platform. There's no ladder to get up on top of the platform. So people kind of like, it's like, well, why are you nitpicking? It's like, bro, if they can't get a door and the stairs to line up correctly, what do you think they did with everything else in this game? It's like that's just basic. They can't even do the basic crap.
Hmm, yeah, that's a shame.
Uh, it's but it's modern entertainment, dude. There's a lots of lazy, so
And somehow they think it's right.
yeah. So he said that it was people in the West who upset about seeing Yasuke as a samurai. Hashimoto, many of the negative online no, like no, there's plenty of there was a lot. Apparently, there was a lot of what he's talking about, but there was also a lot of Japanese people who are not who are upset about it.
Nah, I would be.
Yeah. A couple of months ago, the New York Times actually got in touch with me and asked about Assassin's Creed, in which I was like, yeah, the reception honestly like kind of positive, and a lot of comments you'd see on the videos were like straight up Google translated comments, which is pretty obvious. However, he noted that how annoyed the Japanese people were with certain aspects of the game, and like people are like annoyed with some of the inconsistencies and issues with shadows, which which is like the builds and stuff being wrong, certain clothing and whatnot, right? And the fact that the art team basically stole a sign from a reenactment troupe in Japan. And that's actually pretty common because when you're working with a huge, large team of artists, well, sometimes they're just given direction to Google things and people make mistakes. It's more like you're working with a team of people that speak multiple different languages, and whether or not they can communicate with each other is an issue. That's just part of the game development. Later in the stream, he claimed that he did not work on Assassin's Creed Shadow. I can say that I didn't do any oh, yeah, consultation work on Assassin's Creed Shadows. The stuff I did with Sweet Baby Inc. I will probably never be able to talk about just because the way the game development works. So yeah, basically it's really weird. I have a feeling that I'm going to get blamed for changes and decisions made in the game I worked on that weren't even like that I didn't even what I didn't even know about or wasn't even aware of or even a part of. You share because when you're a consultant, they just kind of pull you in and they ask you for like suggestions or whether or not these suggestions are actually taken up by the director. It is up to the director. People don't understand how much power director and producer have in a studio and whether or not they will facilitate those changes. Still later in the stream, he revealed that developers did not want to hire him, given that he was a former Sweet Baby employee. He said that there are definitely jobs that I have had where people have seen like the fact that I work. Wow, this dude speaks very badly for
He likes
Sweet
like.
Baby. Yeah, he likes like, and it's been a year since I've worked with them, and it's just like a contractual basis when I was just like periodically for like a couple of years. Wow, people will literally be like, Hey, we are going to get harassed for hiring you. Hey, are we going to be harassed for hiring you? And I think that really sucks that instead of like we protect our employees and employer potential person giving you the contract will be more concerned about that than protecting their own employees kind of fucked up. Everything has everything you do has consequences, dude. It's like if you want to be mad at somebody, see her right there. There you go. Go be mad at her. So recent comments during appearance on the Black Girl Gamers YouTube channel. I think annoying is a very good word for it because largely it doesn't materially affect our work. The vast majority of these companies already know what's going on and they still hire us. They're because they're stupid. They know what we actually do, and it doesn't necessarily change our baseline survival, but it does change our comfort level with which we can exist in online spaces because people do not like you, and it ends up being this kind of like very challenging. She likes saying like too,
But still,
but
like,
still like it's just a distraction. It's a distraction. It feels very much like it's a time wasting thing. It's a demoralizing thing, but it doesn't affect your day to day. It's just noise outside. Okay, but that goes back to what my first thing I was saying. It's these people live in a weird ass bubble, man. It's like the things you do have consequences, and the fact that you can't get a job because people are worried about the pushback, and you can't you can't connect the two, right? And the other chick who you're basically being hired for DEI purposes, and that is going to go away soon because even the hint of you even being anywhere near anything means that that shit is not going to sell. So you can sit up there and blow smoke up your own ass about how everything is fine. No, literally everyone, all these people are the freaking dog and sitting in the fire saying everything's fine. It's like you basically made a guy who just pointed out the fact that you are attached to certain games. You put him in a very powerful position because of that, because people are so tired of this stuff. Like very much so, you know.
sucks for him, but
No,
he
no,
should be
no,
more cognizant of of why he's not finding work and stuff.
yeah, no, it doesn't suck for him. The things you do have consequences.
Yeah.
Period. You don't get to do whatever you want. So hey, if you no, you can do whatever you want, but you can't just do it and then there be nothing that comes with that. So all right, you wanted to work for this kind of place. You believe what they believe. You believe that people of color have no agency on their own, so therefore they have to be shoehorned into everything. Okay. You don't want to put in the effort to create your own thing. Uh, so you want to instead put black giants in Norse mythology. Okay, you can do that, and most people ignored it. So because it was new enough to people weren't there yet, where they were just like Bud Light didn't happen yet, and all this other stuff didn't happen yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's gotten too far.
yeah.
I'm glad that
So
the industry is starting to change, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
'cause, dude, people are just tired. It's just so tired. That so whenever you see anything that's popular right now, because all it is a game. You sit down, boom, you do the thing. It's just a movie. You just sit down, you watch it. It's funny. If you want to make a lot of money, make another another type of Tropic Thunder type movie. They ain't gonna do that. But if you want to make a lot of money, you do that. You get like
Yeah.
the Deadpool. That's close. That's kind of close. But you're never gonna get like Robert Downey Jr. Basically doing blackface.
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna happen again.
No, no. But
Yeah.
so everybody just basically is like, all right, I'm just gonna watch this old shit. Then I'm not whatever this new stuff that you're doing. I'm good. So I don't know. All right. So our last story of the day, it is about Lionsgate and what they're doing. The home of John Wick. I saw two different articles on it, one of which was on Cartoon Brew, which is Cartoon Brew is basically like a website dedicated to artists, right? So they talk about like cartoon movies, stuff like that. So usually it's a lot of frou kind of stuff, thing that you no that you would never heard of. No, some
Okay.
little indie thing,
Right.
and all right, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, they talk about this, but then they also talk about like what's going on in Disney's animators thing and like small studios, yada yada yada. So it's more geared towards like
It's
geared
more
toward
niche.
well, I mean it's about cartoons in general
Yeah.
and like artists. So it's like you would probably get more if you were more of an artist, you would probably get more out of it, kind of thing. So it's like charts and data and shorts and all that kind of stuff. So is this article and there's one by IGN. And all right, so this is the other one. All right, so to train AI models for on its film and TV library. All right. So people are really okay. Hmm. So I got like a little warning, something. All right. But this AI stuff, dude, is just crazy. So Lionsgate signs a deal with AI company Runway hopes that AI can eliminate storyboard artists and VFX crews. All right, so
Ouch.
bruh. So it's essentially the same thing. It was two different takes. So I'm gonna go through this one right quick and then check out what IGN has to say about it, see if it's any different. Lionsgate has become the first significant Hollywood studio to go all in on AI. The company today has announced its first of its kind partnership with AI research company Runway to create and train exclusive new AI model based on its portfolio of film and TV content. Lionsgate's exclusive model will be used to generate what it calls cinematic video, which can be further iterated using Runway's technology. The goal is to save money, millions and millions of dollars, according to Lionsgate Studio Vice Chair Michael Burns, by having filmmakers and creators use its AI model to replace artists and production tasks such as storyboarding.
Wow, that's a big
Yeah.
thing.
That is a huge thing. In corporate jargon terminology, Burns said the AI will be used to develop cutting edge, capital efficient content creation opportunities. He added that several filmmakers are already excited about its potential applications to their pre production and post production process. No, your producers probably are excited about this. Your directors and all probably not that excited. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah. Burns also told the Wall Street Journal that he envisions the tool as a way to eventually replace VFX artists and wants the model to be used to create backgrounds and special effects. We do a lot of action movies, so we blow up a lot of things, and that is one of the things Runway does. Runway co-founder and CEO Cristobal Van Valenzuela said that the company is committed to giving artists, creators, and studios the best and most powerful tools to augment their workflows and enable new ways of bringing their stories to life, adding that the history of art in is the history of technology, and these new models are a part of our continuous efforts to build and build transformative mediums for artistic and creative expression. The best stories are yet to be told. Runway said it should be noted. It is disliked by many members of our creative community and is currently being sued by a group of visual artists for copyright infringement. Okay. Lionsgate provided scant details about what content it will be used to train its model, and or how those materials can being used legally. While Lionsgate is primarily known for its live action content, such as John Wick, Twilight, and Hunger Games, the company owns over 20,000 titles and has released plenty of animation through the years, including Astro Boy, Rock Dog, Shaun the Sheep, movie, and Norm of the North. And all right. So the IGN article, see if this has any more information. The deal gives the AI firm Runway access to Lionsgate's massive film and TV library.
Oh
All
wow.
right.
So
Yeah,
that this is not something that they're talking about. This is something that's like
gonna happen.
gonna happen or yeah.
Yeah. So the studio behind John Wick and Hunger Games franchises has raised some eyebrows by signing a deal with tech startup to explore the use of AI in film production. The news was announced in a press release on Wednesday, with Lionsgate partnering with to create a new AI model. So it looks like it might be pretty much the same stuff. Yeah. Um. All right. Okay. Runway and Lionsgate are partnering on a new AI model and customized on Lionsgate's catalog. Customized is a new vague term. In my opinion, an important question for both is: will this only be trained on Lionsgate catalog, or will other videos be used in pre-training?
Mm,
All right. Today, okay, I wonder what they say on X. So, can you see? Okay. All right, I just want to see what the comments are. Can Lionsgate even do this? Yes, they own the digital output, but they don't own the likenesses of any of the actors. All of the actors and companies that have worked on these films, myself being one of them, only agreed to work on the film itself, not selling their likeness and craft to be trained on. I mean, how could they even state it so in agreement when the technology didn't exist yet?
that's a great question. That's good insight.
Yeah.
That's a good
Uh,
point.
All right. So this one, we know what you're thinking. AI video translation is nothing new. So what's different? Not only do we effortlessly translate your videos and okay. So I guess this is someone talking about their thing. They usually run away from these questions. Seem like a rhetorical question. Lionsgate video library isn't big enough to train a quality model without other PT data. So we know much of YouTube is used for text and video models today, and they're still obviously AI generated. Uh, dude, I don't know, man. So the thing for me though is this is gonna be a weird thing where, yeah, I remember I've told you before that they got people who are very good at creating what someone else tells them. So you can tell them to do something and they'll draw you the most beautiful thing, but
Hmm.
they cannot create on their own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I remember you told me.
Yeah, and it's looking more and more and more like the world that we are going into. You cannot exist like that. And it's like you starting a business now and you don't have any social media presence. You can't do that no more. So you may not like YouTube or Twitter or Instagram and yada 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 yada. You just got to get over that. And
Yeah,
it's
you have to do it.
yeah, and it's looking more and more like these companies, because the guy who's running the company more than likely is not an artist. He doesn't think like an artist, so he's not really looking at it from that perspective. Of this is someone who spent nights working on this. This is who took time away from their family and whatever, and you're going to use that to train your freaking algorithm to recreate something that looks something like his work. So that guy is not gonna. So you can. So all these lawsuits and all this other stuff. I say good luck, but it's you're sticking your fingers in the hole in the dam, and every time you poke one, another one comes out. Bruh, dude, it sucks. Like it really does, and because you're the moment that this gets implemented fully, then goodbye to anything actually new. You know,
Yeah, there
like
will be no more.
no happy. It is
Yeah,
a lot of new stuff is created by happy accidents. You know,
true. Yeah.
and that's not how these AIs seem to work. It has parameters and data and the information that you gave it, and it can't go anything beyond that. Just like with Google's Gemini, and you had these crazy people who are putting DEI stuff in its thought process. So when you ask it a question, it couldn't give you a correct answer because it can't get beyond what its programming is. So how are you gonna have that dude So how you gonna have this particular thing? Like, create something. I remember, and I've told many people about this story that I saw. The band War. The only reason they have one of their hit songs is because the drummer messed up. Drummer messes up. He goes on the upbeat instead of the downbeat, changes how everybody else's plays the song. So therefore, the song is different, and it is a more of an upbeat feel to it, and it became a huge hit. But you do not get this song unless the human drummer messed up. A computer generated drum machine won't
It's not
mess
gonna
up.
mess up, yeah.
No, it'll do whatever you tell it.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem, and like I feel for all I'm an artist, so I feel for these all of these people, but the person who's making the decision is not an artist. At the end of the day, he's not. He's not thinking that way. He's thinking about how to save money. Like the dude from EA, same shit, same shit. They are all in on AI because they are thinking about how we can save money. It's
I
like it
know.
never.
That's hard on the people that work there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
because I mean, for them, yeah, that is a good point. Essentially, you're getting replaced.
yeah.
Yeah.
So only I can suggest is you figure out how to operate in the world that is being created around you. There are certain things you can stop, a lot of things you can't. And these corporate types are dead set in doing this. So I, you can create your own thing, and at the same time, what really sucks is you got a generation of people who are so used to crap. It's just middle of the road crap. It's like they don't know anything about how you make certain things. It's like I can tell people about Chuck Jones and the Looney Tunes cartoons. Little kids right have no interest in any of that stuff.
True.
But these things were created by people. It's like all this stuff that like you're not gonna get any more Batman and Spider Man. You're gonna get some weird combination of that, but it won't be nothing new. So, so I'm hoping that I'm wrong and that we can get enough people to go, yeah, like, no, I'm good, which seems to be happening. So I could be wrong.
Oh, it's like the being the creative side of
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Because what it is creating is stuff that's soulless.
Yeah.
So,
It doesn't have that. I think that's where the human element comes in.
mhm.
Yeah, with the surprise mistakes and the soul of it.
The most popular producers on earth, they all have one thing in common. They figured out that certain chords go together and it resonates with people. It doesn't stick with them, but it resonates with them in the short term.
Hmm.
So it's like that's why you got your Taylor Swift and all that stuff. Seriously, because the person who produces her stuff knows that if I do this chord and I do at this tempo and I do like and I put the hook here and I do this here, it'll keep that same whatever that is song or whatever like this thing that's going on now. It'll keep it going, so she can move product and she'll have a dedicated fan base. But like, are they going to be playing these songs 20 years from now? Seriously, I can go put on Marvin Gaye and I start playing it at like the mall or whatever. A bunch of people will be digging it.
Yeah. Right.
The younger ones won't even know who the hell Marvin Gaye is.
It
This
is.
is
Yeah.
like I like this song because it's something about it. So I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, but mm, we'll see. So, all right. Those are our stories for today. We have reached the hour mark as our typical show goes. So, what you about to get in? It's a little late, so I'm probably gonna lay down. I think
Okay.
I have a chocolate cake someplace, so I may go eat that and chill out a little bit.
Laying down sounds good. I'll give myself like another hour or hour and a half.
Mm, Mr. Party Man.
Am I that exhilarated in my voice?
Oh yeah, you sound like oh, you sound more excited than I am. All right. So, on behalf of myself and Mr. Elton, the Noob Avenger, I would like to say, and with the UN, we are out. Later.
See ya.